It's the end of May in my Colorado garden, and just about everything is awake. Some of my favorite plants are beginning to flower. It's been about 10 days since I had my last frost. The nights are getting warmer, and even though today's a little bit chilly, the days are getting warmer too. Join me as I give you a tour of my garden in May and discuss a little bit about what I'm doing. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and this is the fifth in a series of videos that shows throughout the year what's happening in my Colorado garden. This has really been an interesting month. We've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Record temperatures during the day and extreme cold temperatures at night. But things are beginning to balance out a little bit. I'm finally able to get in the garden on a daily basis and get things done. Finish up some projects, start some building, put some plants in the ground, and enjoy the plants that are already here. This is one of my favorite projects in the garden that I've been working on for a few years now. This is my espalier apple tree. And a couple months ago, I did some pretty serious pruning to make sure that all of the back branches and the front branches were trimmed off and to cut it to a consistent height. I love the way this looks. It's going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to shape it. But in May, it's completely leafed out and I can really see the full structure. This is my other espalier project in the garden. 5 apple trees that I planted last year and that I'll train along this fence. Now, I was quite worried until just this month because I did some very hard pruning to make sure that the initial height on all of these trees was the same. And it's just now that all of them, this is the last one, have leafed out. They made it through the winter, and in the upcoming months, I can begin shaping these trees too. My elderberry bush is looking great. This is the first year that it's been covered with flowers. It's only been here a few years. Last year, it had a few flowers with a few berries, but now I think there's enough on this plant to flower, produce berries, and then I can make some amazing elderberry jelly. I was able to get some seeds sown in some of these garden beds this month. I've got beets in the bed with my garlic. I've got cilantro and arugula and bok choy in this bed. I've got carrot and lettuce and spinach in that bed over there. And I've got peas and more beets and more carrots in that bed. I had to wait until the soil warmed up because of those cold nights that we were getting. But these plants are all sprouting and doing great. It's not quite time yet to put in the summer crops. I'm monitoring the soil temperature. I want it to be at least 70 degrees Fahrenheit before I transplant my tomatoes and my peppers and then start my melon and squash seeds. I'm not there yet, but maybe another week, possibly 2, I'll be getting those plants in June. Last month we had a very severe freeze and I lost all the blossoms on my peach and my plum trees and most of my apple trees. I didn't think I was going to get much of a harvest this year, but this apple tree has fought the odds. By having so many different varieties that flower at different times, I found one that was able to flower late enough that it wasn't affected by those previous freezes. So this Harry Masters Jersey apple looks like it's going to give me quite a few apples this year. I had a pretty good asparagus harvest this year and had quite a few spears ready to harvest when the severe cold hit and zapped all of them. Everything above the ground was killed, and I was worried that this bed wouldn't recover, or the one on the other side. But I'm glad to say in May they all recovered. I haven't done any more harvesting. I'm letting all of the spears now grow completely to set the leafy fronds and to really give me a good, strong root system for next year when I really expect an even better harvest. I'm keeping a close eye on this honeysuckle. It's flowering now. Beautiful flowers. It's one of my favorite flowers in the entire garden. And 2 weeks ago, I saw my first hummingbird. So I put up my hummingbird feeder and it's coming back to feed. I'm waiting till it discovers these flowers. It's such a beautiful sight to see the hummingbird flitting around this honeysuckle. My front garden area is also waking up and I'm starting to see some new flowers. I didn't get the tulips and the daffodils this year because they all froze before they could bloom, but my salvia is beginning to pop. I just love this plant. And my peonies are starting to form the flower buds. Still a few weeks away, but they're going to get bigger and be filled with flowers. The new peony plants that I put in last fall all made it through the winter as well and are growing great. I use May as a month to do a survey of what needs to be done in my front yard. And the lamb's ear is doing great, but it's taking over. So this is going to be a project in the months ahead, just clearing out this area. But I wanted to show you one of the favorite things that I look for in this month, and that's when my poppies begin to bloom. And there's more on the way. Let's go ahead and switch over to the other garden, and I'll show you what's happening there. At my second garden, color is beginning to explode everywhere. I've been able to actually make some good progress here in May. The weather has been up and down, but we've been able to put a lot of plants in. Now, I can't take credit for almost everything that's in this section. It was here before, but I've been adding my touch, extra plants, extra color. But what's here now is beautiful. The irises are just about to hit their peak. This is such a beautiful color, such a beautiful plant. And I love May when these flowers first start to appear. I love growing salvia. It's a great plant for attracting pollinators, particularly bees and hummingbirds. This variety, however, I've never grown before. This is a Shangri-La salvia, and it's got very unique flowers. It's just beginning to pop. When you get in close, you can see the unique shape. This really is something special. When I see a garden like this, it really drives home how important elevation is in gardening. Now, this garden is about 650 feet lower in elevation than my primary garden. And that small amount, though it is large for a lot of people who live in flatlands, makes such a difference. The peonies are already blooming, and a big reason for that is the elevation. And I have to point out these beautiful flower boxes that ring this deck. And I had nothing to do with this. My gardening partner did it all. This incredible splash of color before everything else in the garden is vibrant is a great way to bring the garden alive with annual plants. There are a few perennials here, but when we talk about how to make annuals really have an impact on the garden, this is what I'm talking about. And then when you add hummingbird feeders, it makes it even more wonderful to sit on the deck and watch the hummingbirds feed with the backdrop of these beautiful flowers. This was a fun project that we did just about a week ago. Family got together and we made concrete stepping stones that are going to be in front of the greenhouse. And it all began with just an evening, getting the family together and making some incredible designs. We've made a lot of good progress in this area of the garden this month. We took down the structures that were here, so now we have a blank canvas on which to work. This is a future vegetable garden area. I have some lumber to make some raised beds. I already put in one of my metal raised beds that's filled and ready for planting, and we have a plan for how the path is going to wind around and down this hillside with raised beds and the flowers, the perennials, the grasses, the fruit bushes, the berries that are going to be at the bottom. This is coming along, and this next month ahead we're going to see a lot of progress. You'll see that in next month's video. This whole garden is awake and it's growing, but still a little early for the flowers to develop in this pollinator garden. It's been mostly dry in May, so I have set up this overhead sprinkler to periodically water everything. Now, it has been challenging dividing my time between two gardens, and it really gives me a good appreciation for all the gardeners who are doing that, particularly in the UK. I see how Eli and Kate are traveling miles to their new plot, and I have a similar feeling. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to the other garden. So I have to do work here, do work there, and it's just beginning, because June, as summer develops, is when the real work, the real planting, the real garden benefits begin to show themselves. Be sure and follow along with each of these months with the changing activities and the changing plants, because I'll be back for episode 6 next time. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.